We have more storms in the forecast, but rest assured we are not looking at the kind of persistent pattern we saw over the last several weeks. Right now, there are a few storms north of our area from Jacksboro over towards Bridgeport and then over towards Anna and Bonham. South of us, there's maybe a couple, and then you just see some clutter here. That's really nothing that we need to be concerned with on the radar. What we do have in our area is plenty of clouds. You can see clouds covering most of the state here, and yes, over in New Mexico, you might see a little bit of a swirl there. We'll get to that here in a little bit, but this should at least help us keep our temperatures a little more reasonable today. 87, 88 degrees with a norm of 91, so we're actually below normal. You can't argue with that. In summer, overnight tonight, temperatures much closer to normal, 70 to 71 degrees with that norm of 70. The other thing you can't really argue with is low medium for that allergy forecast. That pollen count relatively low. Now, I have already heard the mowers out there this morning, so just be aware that grass could be a decent bit of that count today as more people get out and mow those yards. But overall, not too bad across our area. Now, here's what we're looking at today. Kind of two things, one for today, one for tomorrow. For today, this front is stalling out south of our area. We were unsure exactly where this was going to land. So the good news is it is south of us, and so we're getting some of that northerly flow, and that is keeping temperatures relatively cool today. I say relatively cool. Upper 80s is still warm. For tomorrow, though, we have this low that's going to make its way eastward, and that will bring more storms, and it looks like we will be on the southern side of that, which is a westerly flow. Yes, you know what westerly flow means. Looks like we could have a complex develop to our west that blows eastward. Now, again, let me reiterate, we're not looking at this being a persistent kind of pattern that we saw over the last several weeks, but we could have maybe just one more before the faucet in the sky turns off and we're very dry for the summer season. So let's time all of this out here, and just again, I give this disclaimer every time. This is an estimation by a model of where and when things will happen. It's not exact. For noon today, Joe's just a few out there. You get to 3 o'clock, we start warming up. Yeah, that's when you increase your convection, and that's when we will see more of those storms developing. As we get to 6 o'clock, they start kind of tapering off. It's kind of interesting how it kills off most of that from 3 o'clock. We won't lose that much heating by 6 o'clock, but at the same time, it won't be as warm. So by 6 o'clock and certainly by 9 o'clock, I think things are fairly well tapered off in our area. So not a long period of time of rain today, just afternoon thunderstorms are what we're expecting, and hard to say exactly how many there will be, but could be at least a few across our area. Now to the west, yep, you see that big complex coming together. Again, this is it's not an exact point of location and intensity here. This is just a guess by the model. But I want to show you this because midnight tonight shows that moving mostly west and south of us, and then by 3 a.m., really most of that coming apart. Now, here's what's interesting. You notice most of that line has kind of receded a little bit, and it's starting to kind of revolve back around the 4 o'clock position on that low. And if you picture it like a clock there, but what you see on the front end is you see possibly some new convection developing there, and by 6 a.m. you see again new convection popping up ahead of the original line that has kind of fallen apart. Now by 9 a.m. most of that's pushed eastward. It has really the center most of the convection farther to the west here, and then by noon shows that moving into our west. And again, this is all a model's estimation. These smaller features are tough to call this far out, so we will kind of have to watch and see how this thing develops. But what's interesting is 3 o'clock. It shows quite a bit of convection across our area. Now, farther to the west here, you have the center of the low. It's kind of hanging out here. The speed and trajectory of that low pressure system will really determine all of this, as well as what we've said before, where if you get more convection in the morning, that could stabilize the atmosphere and really limit what we get in the afternoon. I think this is a little bit ambitious for what we're going to see, but we'll keep following these model trends. And then 6 o'clock tomorrow, the strongest stuff looks south of us, and then for our area, just some more scattered showers and thunderstorms moving through. And then again by 9 o'clock, the sun goes down, start losing daytime heating. Most of that has fallen apart with most of the heavier stuff down closer to the coast. So here's where we are in terms of those severe weather risks, right? I know that's one thing everybody's wondering about. Focus to our west, and really this is going to be for where that system develops farther west over the course of the evening. And then tomorrow it shows it west of us, and you can see the track of that system as they have it. And it has it going, again, west and south of us. So the Storm Prediction Center is seeing a little bit of a different possible forecast, and again, we have to look at multiple models. The model I showed you was just the one that I thought had the best picture in terms of maybe what was going to happen, the best visual aid for me to use in this video. But overall, it does look like most of it will be west and south of us, but we could still get a few showers and thunderstorms here for our particular area. So let's get into the forecast and put this all together. Today, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, light northeast winds, but that is helping us keep relatively cool in terms of our temperatures. Again, tomorrow's another relatively cool day. Better chance, I think, of storms. I think tomorrow we overall get a better coverage. Now, the timing is a little bit unclear. As I mentioned, if we get more storms in the morning, that will limit what we get in the afternoon, and vice versa. So we'll see how that goes. But be prepared for at least a few showers and thunderstorms in the morning as you're going to work, and then that will help us determine what to expect in the afternoon. Overall, 40, maybe 50%, depending on how that afternoon goes. But you notice light winds here, and as we warm up in the latter part of the week, we're back in the mid-90s by the time we get into the latter half of the work week here. And we have light winds here. Now remember, when we have light winds and warm temperatures here, that is going to lead to probably some air quality alerts. That will lead to more ozone pollution, more of an impact from that. So stay tuned for that as well if you have those sensitivities. For now, though, we're focused on our storm chances, but you notice a couple of days of storms and then nothing. So we're definitely getting into a pattern where these storm chances are not a persistent pattern. It's not the norm. This is more the anomaly now. So just be prepared to get into that season where storm chances are actually a good thing, where we can actually get those. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather as we cover storms this afternoon. Again, not really expecting severe weather today, just a few scattered showers and storms as that stationary front kind of hangs around to our south. And then tomorrow, a little bit less clear in terms of the forecast, but could be better coverage of storms as a low pressure system moves in from the west.